Hello. Welcome to 10-minute classic book bites, where we serve only the finest essence of timeless literature. We often ask ourselves, have I lived well? If no visible result remains, does that mean my life has been in vain? Ernest Hemingway's The Old Man and the Sea offers a profound answer through a deceptively simple tale. It is the story of a solitary old man who seemingly left nothing behind, yet remained unyielding until the very end. Today, through this old man's ocean, we shall reflect on the theme, what constitutes human dignity? Body in a small Cuban fishing village lived Santiago, an old man with a gaunt body marked by deep wrinkles. His skiff was weathered, and its sail was patched with flour sacks, looking like a flag of permanent defeat. For 84 days, he had gone without catching a single fish. People called him Salao, the worst form of unlucky. Yet, his eyes remained the color of the sea, cheerful and undefeated. Even Manolin, the boy who had fished with him for 40 days, was forced by his father to leave the old man's boat. Though the boy now sailed on a luckier vessel, he still deeply respected and loved the man who had first taught him to fish at the age of 5. Santiago was poor, aged, and alone. Nevertheless, he declared, "I am not finished yet." He told himself, "It is better to be exact. Then when luck comes, you are ready." He possessed an unwavering confidence in his craft. He did not seek to conquer nature. Instead, he confronted it with profound respect. He held deep compassion for the sea's creatures and knew his place within the natural order. He detested the stinging jellyfish but felt a kinship with the turtles that ate them. People said a turtle could live for an hour even after its heart was taken out. So they handled them without mercy. But the old man felt pity for the turtles. Watching the small, frail birds searching for food, he mused. Why did God make birds so delicate and fine as those sea swallows when the ocean can be so cruel? Despite his poverty, he drank shark liver oil and ate turtle eggs to fortify the strength needed for his fishing. On the 85th day, the old man sets out alone once more. He resolves to venture out too far, into the deep waters where no one else dares to go. He is no longer young, his hands are scarred, and his body bears the traces of a life that has weathered many defeats. Finally, he encounters a giant marlin, larger than his own boat. Though he wonders if he can truly prevail against such a magnificent creature, he reminds himself it is silly not to hope. It is a sin. The struggle with the marlin lasts for 2 days and nights. This is no mere hunt, it is a solitary battle for survival. The fishing line cuts into his back, his hands cramp, and his muscles ache with an agonizing intensity. In his solitude, he thought of the boy. "I wish the boy were here, Manolin," he said to himself. He regrets the things he failed to bring, but quickly corrects his thoughts. Now is no time to think of what you do not have. Think of what you can do with what there is. The old man pulled and gave line, trying again and again to bring the fish in. But the fish was too big and too strong. The boat is towed relentlessly by the powerful fish, but he did not hate the great fish, though it would be the death of him. Instead, Santiago begins to call his adversary, brother. He starts talking to himself, a habit born of isolation. He wonders about the life this great fish has lived and feels a deep empathy for its desperate resistance. Seeing the silver flash of the marlin, he is awestruck by its dignity and beauty, even feeling a pang of remorse for having to kill it. Yet, he remains steadfast. "My trade is to be a fisherman. I must focus on this." He says, "Fish, I love you and respect you very much. But I will kill you dead before this day ends." These words are strikingly human, a blend of respect, compassion, and iron will. On the 3rd day, the marlin rose from the sea. The old man summoned his last vestige of strength and drove the harpoon into its side. He killed the fish then, and lashed the great carcass to the side of his skiff. However, the journey home proves even more treacherous. The scent of blood diffuses deep into the water, attracting a pack of sharks. Each time the marlin is bitten, Santiago feels as though he himself is being torn. Among the sharks, there were proud and powerful ones that hunted only what was alive. And there were also brutal sharks that devoured everything in their path, rotting flesh or otherwise without distinction. The more they tore, the more blood flowed, beckoning more predators. Though he loses his harpoon, breaks his knife, and misplaces his club, he fights back until the bitter end. But as he hears the sharks rending the flesh of his prize, he tastes the bitterness of defeat. The sharks stripped every scrap of meat from the marlin. In the end, all that remained was the great skeleton and his weary body. The skiff was light now, moving easily with the weight gone. As he steered her home, he thought of the boy and then of the small bed in his shack. "The bed is my friend," he said to himself. "It is a good friend that takes a defeated man and gives him rest." He looked at the dark sea and whispered, "I went out too far. That is all." The next morning, the boy starts weeping upon seeing the old man's scarred hands and his empty vessel. Other fishermen and people marvel at the sheer scale of the skeleton, measuring its immense length. They looked at the massive head and the heavy tail and talked about how great a marlin it must have been. When Santiago awakens, he says to the boy, "Manolin, they truly beat me." But the boy replies firmly, "No, the fish did not beat you. You were not beaten until the end." Santiago feels a renewed gratitude for the boy's presence, someone to talk to instead of the lonely sea. Though physically broken, the old man falls asleep, already preparing to face the ocean again tomorrow. His hands are scarred, but a legendary tale remains in the village. Regardless of the world's judgment, the old man dreams of the lions he saw on the beaches of Africa in his youth. These lions represent his lost youth and the undying energy of life. He is battered, but his spirit is tempered like steel. A man can be destroyed but not defeated. Santiago lost the fish, but he did not lose himself. Therefore, he is not a victim of failure, but a victor of dignity. A disastrous result does not render the process a failure. Hemingway did not merely write a fishing story. He sang a paean to the unyielding human spirit that persists even when only bones remain. In this tale, the marlin represents the ideals we pursue all our lives. The sharks symbolize the trials and vanities that gnaw at our achievements. And the lions represent the vigor and resilience that never truly leave us. Today, we ask, by what do I seek to prove myself? By the results, or by the manner in which I have endured? The old man and the sea reminds us that we do not live merely to win, but to preserve our dignity. The world judges by the harvest, but this novel offers a different standard. The agonizing nights you have endured may have broken you, but they have never truly defeated you. If you are quietly bearing a burden today that no one recognizes, know that your life is already profoundly human and worthy. This has been 10-Minute Classic Bites. Thank you.